Hey Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. It's been a while since we've done a video like this, but I wanted to give you guys a bit of an update on what's been happening this year and what 2023 looked like for us, because if I'm being honest, it was one of the hardest and weirdest years that we've ever had with the channel. So let's have a chat. First of all, tech is just really expensive and the bang for buck just isn't there with new tech. You can always buy stuff secondhand or whatnot, but at the same time, a lot of what we do here is cover the latest and greatest tech. So for our bread and butter type of content, it's been a lot harder to get people to sit down and watch. It's hard to be inspired when the thing that you love to do, people just aren't as interested in it anymore. And that's okay. I'm not crying about it. It's not a sob story, nothing like that. This is just how the world is right now. And this isn't just me saying this. This is a lot of other creators out there. A lot of people I've seen have had terrible 2023s, us included. How does this look though? Well, for views and subscribers, this year has been the weakest year that we've had since we started the channel. Views are about 50% of what they used to be. Sub growth is tiny compared to what it used to be. We used to average around about 50,000 subs a year. We didn't even do half of that this year, which is fine. This is just the way the algorithm works. This is the way it's going to continue to work, because the thing is with YouTube, if you don't feel inspired and you're not uploading as much, you're also not feeding the algorithm as much, and then that kind of slows down organic growth for channels. And that's just the reality of it, right? If you don't make content, you get lost in the ether of the algorithm. Simple as that. And I'm not complaining about it, because actually, although 2023 was a weird and tough year for us, there were a lot of positive things that came out this year, not just for tech, but in our personal lives, which I think is more interesting than anything that we did here on the channel this year. Before I go on, I just wanted to say that because of all the good positive things that happened this year, it had a negative effect on the channel because we had to take time away from making content. And that's just the nature of the beast. Sometimes in life, you have to focus on things that aren't part of your career and things that focus on bettering your life, right? And that's just how it is. And sometimes it's good to take a step back and kind of think, you know what? I wasn't that inspired for about 40% of the year, but that's okay, right? People's lives go through phases. And I talk to Claire about this a lot. I call it the 5-year phase. Every 5 years, there's things that you phase out in your life, and there's new things that come in and replace it. When we started Gear Seekers, we're at the start of a 5-year phase, and now we're at the end of a 5-year phase, but Gear Seekers has survived that 5-year phase. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Anyway, I wanted to share what actually happened this year, because we haven't really talked about this publicly yet, but you know, here we go. First of all, there's things in your life that just suck up so much energy and time, toxic things that gets to a point where you're just like, I don't care about this anymore. So you just need to remove it from your life to help your mental health and make yourself feel better about your life. And that's kind of what we did at the end of this year. There were like a lot of things that were just draining us, and it was just time to let it go, because I don't have time to waste on this kind of stuff. I'm getting older, I've got other things I want to do in my life, and I'm not going to let things like that drag me down and waste any more of my time. Because to me, the most important thing is not money, it's time. Time is the most valuable resource ever, because you can never get it back, right? And money is something you can get back. That's kind of one of those things this year where I toyed with the idea. I'm like, maybe YouTube isn't for me. Maybe I should go back to working a normal job. But ultimately, I'm still going to be here. I'm still doing YouTube full time. I'm not going anywhere. And again, it's not about money. I couldn't care less about the money. It's about time for me. If I don't have time to do the things I love, then I'm just not going to do it. And if I went back to working a normal job, I would lose that time. I wouldn't be able to go out and skate whenever I wanted. I wouldn't be able to go out and do anything that I wanted whenever I wanted. Although, if I'm being honest, at the moment, we're held hostage by packages coming, and it's a weird time of year for that to happen. But you know, it is what it is. That's part of the job. But I do get a lot of freedom and time to do things that I love to do. And that's the main thing with life, right? You can't just dedicate your whole life to one thing without having any sense of what makes you feel good in your life. It's just a waste of time, right? Don't waste time, but you know what I'm trying to say. On top of 2023 being the weirdest year ever and probably the hardest year ever is, I feel like you guys don't care about us anymore, but that's okay. Because again, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still gonna be here, still gonna be making videos because this is what I love to do. It gives me time to do the things that I love to do in life, and that is making content, right? Even if it's not about PCs and hardware and tech and whatnot, sitting here talking to you guys just makes me happy, and that's what I love to do. Sometimes I talk too much, don't you think? Right? Sometimes I talk a little bit too much, but that's just me. All right, the good stuff. This is the really good stuff, and something that we weren't expecting to do this year because, ladies and gents, the studio that you see right here, we were renting this apartment for about 7 years and we now own it. This is now our apartment. We don't rent here anymore, we own it. Let me tell you the story because this is a crazy one and it happened when we least expected it. So yeah, let's go back to August of this year. August was kind of this pivot point for me where I was like, oh, you know, like I need to get on top of my fitness and stuff again. So I started skating a bit more again and I broke my rib, right? And that happens. And that's skateboarding, right? I'm an old man. It's the first time I ever broke a bone. So I was in a lot of pain and Claire was helping me move absolutely everything around the studio. I couldn't pick up anything that was heavier than maybe 5 kilos. Sitting down was super uncomfortable. I tried not to let you guys see it in videos, but from let's say August, or mid of August to middle of October, I was in pain non-stop, right? I didn't take anything for it except like regular, like non-prescription painkillers because that's just not me. Like I'm not into it. I don't like that kind of stuff. I have an addictive enough personality, so I don't need to add that to my life at all, right? So that's kind of what was happening with me physically and just with things that I could do at the time. I'm gonna say it was maybe the last week of August. I got a phone call from the property manager of this property that we're in now, and they were like, hey, the owner wants to sell the property. And it freaked us out quite a bit to the point where as soon as I got that phone call, I'm like, we need to move. Like we actually have to move house. I can't buy this place. I don't have the liquid funds to do it right now. Or so I thought. We'll come back to that. So the first thing we did was we went out and looked at a house to rent. And it was a big house. It was a little bit more rent than we were paying here. And it's funny because I walked in, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be cool. And I hated it. The roofs were too low. There was all these little things, like some of the rooms weren't big enough and just all these tiny little things. And I was like, hang on, if we can afford to pay this rent, why don't we actually just try to buy the place that we're in so we don't have to move? And the thing is, like, it gets us into the property market and it helps us later down the line if you want to buy something bigger. So we're like, okay, let's figure out how we're going to do that. And here's the thing with buying property in Australia. No one tells you how to do it. There's no cheat sheet on the easiest way to do this kind of stuff, which is, funnily enough, where my dad comes in. My dad has been a real estate agent for longer than I've been alive. And I was like, hey, how do I do this? And he's like, I got you. I'm going to negotiate the price. I'm going to do everything for you. All you need to do is figure out how you're going to pay for it, right? Because that's the main thing. How are you going to pay for a house that you're not ready to buy yet? I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was to get money to buy the place. But what people don't tell you is how much time everything else takes up, like exchanging contracts and solicitors and all these things that people just don't know about. I'm not an expert on it. I don't do it every single day of my life, but now I know exactly what I need to do if I need to do it again. So the second one's going to be much easier. But the first one was crazy because there were all these things that we had to get in line. We had to speak to our accountant and do all this stuff that I just didn't really think that I'd be doing this year, because we'd planned to do it in 2024. So that's just life, right? Sometimes there's things that you're not expecting to do that just come up. And one of the conversations I had with my dad was like, well, if you're going to do it next year, why don't you just do it this year? Because at the end of the day, you're just going to do it anyway. So just do it now. And he was right. So yeah, that's the thing. We now own this house, this studio is ours. And now we can do whatever the we want with this house because we own it. That's where this gets really, really fun. We are completely renovating the studio. This is one of the last times that you're gonna see this studio looking like it does now. I'm gonna say there's probably, what do you reckon, Claire, 5 more videos or maybe 4 more videos with it looking like this, because after that, it's going to look completely different. And the reason it's taking time is because it's this time of the year and it's hard to organize things. But I don't want to give too much away right now, but it's going to be completely different. And I'm so excited to share what plans we've got, because once the house settled, actually before the house settled and all that stuff with banks and all that stuff, we already started planning on what we wanted to do. And wheels are in motion, so it's all happening. And I'm very, very excited to share that next phase with you guys, because I believe that it's going to transform the channel for the better, because we've got videos that are going to be showing us renovating the studio. We've already started filming stuff, but there's stuff that you haven't seen yet. It's kind of behind the scenes. We're going to rebuild our setups properly this time, exactly the way we want it. We can drill into the walls. We can do absolutely anything we want now. So we're going to build the most badass setups for Claire and I. And it's something that I've been dreaming of doing forever. And now we can. We've got nothing holding us back and it's ours. I'm not sitting here bragging about us being able to do this, because there are a lot of sacrifices that we had to make to be able to do this that maybe some other people won't be able to do, but that's okay, right? Everyone has their own speed of doing things in life. There's no checklist and no time frame of doing things in a certain order. So if you can do something and you have the means to do it, then, you know, that's what we're going to do, because YouTube has given us the opportunity to be able to buy a house, which is something that I never thought we'd be able to do. It's insane that we make videos on the internet and now we can buy a house because of that. And I get that cost of living and everything is super expensive, because for us, our mortgage is crazy money, right? We have to sacrifice so much. We have to work so much harder. But it's absolutely worth it, because it gives us the opportunity to give back more to you guys. And what do I even mean by that? Well, the giveaways and stuff that we do here, yeah, like it gets some views and some subscribers, but it's not why we do it. We do it because we want to give back to the people who care about what we do here on YouTube. Fair enough, you guys give us everything by watching the content, right? And you give us your time. But what we can do is give back to you guys for watching our content. This is the way that we give back, right? Is by giving away gaming PCs and that kind of stuff. But next year, I don't think we're going to give away gaming PCs and stuff. We're going to give away smaller stuff like coolers and stuff. We're not going to make videos about it. We're just going to give it away on socials and stuff like that, because I don't think there's a point making videos saying, hey, we're giving this whole thing away, blah, blah. Yeah, we may do 3 or 4 gaming PCs in a year where we do that and I show you how we build it, but I don't want to make that what the channel is about, because that's not what I'm about, right? I'm not about cheesing the system to get more views and subscribers. I want to make content that I enjoy making, and that's what we're getting back to in 2024. Back to our roots, making content that we care about and that we love to make. It's not about what the trend is or what the algorithm wants, right? I don't care, I couldn't care less. I just want to make fun content. That's what this channel was about from the beginning. With saying that, in 2024, I'm going to be transforming the way we film things. Everything's going to look different because the studio is going to be different. And I'm not feeling inspired in this space anymore, because we've been filming in here, what is it, 5 or 6 years now, and it's kind of boring for me to walk in and get inspired to make content. So we can transform the studio, we can change things now, right? We're gonna do it, we're gonna make it look awesome, and I'm so excited. I don't think this comes across in the video, but I'm so keen for 2024. We need to put 2023 away, chuck it in the bin, and burn it all to the ground and start fresh. We've got so many things planned for next year. That's just gonna be mind-blowing, and we're so excited. Like, I'm gonna get back to doing more network and storage content because that's my passion. That's what I love to do. That's what I did in my professional career before YouTube. So that's something I want to kind of focus a little bit on this year, because I know there's a lot of home labbers out there, and there's a lot of things that I can add to that people just aren't talking about, right? There's a lot of little cool tips and tricks that I can offer you guys with all that type of stuff too. Obviously, we're going to still be covering the same stuff on the channel that we've always done, because that's what we do here, like case reviews and all that stuff. But that's going to be changing too. It's going to be much better. We've got something we've been working on that I will share when you see it, right? Next year. You'll see it next year. You won't see it this year, because this is probably the second last video that we're making this year. I've got one more I still got to do. It's been a tough year for everyone, both in tech and life and cost of living and everything. And we thought it was going to get tougher, and it did get tougher. At the start of the year, I was so freaked out about what was going to happen with the channel and all of that stuff. But I shifted my mindset into things I can control. And what I can control is making videos, right? I can't control you watching it. I can't control subscriber counts. I can't control the algorithm. I can't control any of that, but I can control creation of whatever we do here on the channel. And that's what we're going to continue to do. Continue to make content that we want to make, not following trends or any of that stuff. We're just doing whatever we do here because that's what I love to do. Also, if you follow us on Twitter and other social media platforms, you would have seen that this year I recorded a whole new album, right? A vocal album of me. It's something that I did before YouTube as well. I don't know what I want to do with it yet. It's finished, but I have a few things I want to do mentally before putting that out, because I think that that's going to take up a lot of time in 2024. So I'm going to just sit on it for a bit. And if you guys really want me to release it, let me know in the comments. Because if you like the music you hear on the channel, I make all the music, like everything you hear on the channel, it's me. And if you want to listen to it, you can click that join button right down there down below. There's a playlist called Music for Members, and there's like hundreds of songs that I've made for the channel. So you can listen to that if you like. We actually get asked, Claire, someone asked this, what tier do I get access to the music on? All of them. Cheapest tier, whatever. If you really want to support the channel, you can use the higher tiers. I don't know what else you get, but you know, that's just to support the channel. But yes, lowest tier if you want that kind of stuff. It is what it is. Yeah, music, I make it. Thank you. Last bit of housekeeping for 2023. We're going to take a little bit of time off in January to renovate the studio. Right? And then we'll make a video after it's all done to show you what went into all of it, because yeah, that's how it is. But we're still going to be making videos in between that, because there's lots of interesting stuff coming out in January, and I'll probably be filming that all in my office just to take away from whatever I'm doing in here. But yeah, we will be taking a little bit of time off because I need a break. The last 3 days, what I've been doing, Claire, just watching TV on the couch for like 3 days, because I just needed to do that, right? I've been so busy this whole year with just everything that I felt like we got to the finish line and I'm a bit burnt out. So I don't want to make videos if I'm feeling burnt out, and I don't want to do anything like that. Thank you for hanging around this year in 2023. I appreciate you all very much. You guys are amazing. You are the reason we get to do all of this, and I cannot thank you enough. From making videos full-time on YouTube, on Gear Seekers for a job, to buying a house, all of these other things we get to do in our life, like traveling to Taiwan. We're not going to CES, we're not doing that because we want to do all this stuff. Yeah, it's because of you guys. We get to do everything. So I appreciate you all very, very much. Thank you for 2023, even though it's been a dog shit year in many ways, but we will see you next year. Yeah. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek, and I guess you could watch a video up here. Maybe it's me being more happy, but I'm happy. I'm really, really happy. It's been a great year for life admin, not so much for Gear Seekers, but things that we wanted to do this year, that we've been wanting to do our whole lives, we got it done. And that is winning. Thanks for watching.